Hello everyone, my name's Laeticia Sevin and welcome to the International Opportunities Podcast. This series will give you an insight into our students' first-hand experiences abroad, whether that be a study exchange or work placement. From Fiji to Canada, our students have done amazing things abroad and we want to showcase that to all of you. If you're thinking about going abroad for your studies or for work, then this series will hopefully give you some inspiration, tips and advice. Today we have Emma Beggan in the studio. Hi Emma.
Hi.
Now you've just got back from a trimester abroad in the USA, which sounds amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I studied abroad in Nashville. It was just about half an hour, 40 minutes away from Nashville. It was at MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro.
Brilliant. And what course was it that you're doing?
So I do broadcast journalism at Salford. Out there, they kind of said to me, do mainly media-based courses, but if you want to do something else while you're out there, then go for it. So I had to do 5 classes. I did 3 media-ish courses, journalism courses, and then I did Introduction to American Politics and acting, acting for non-majors or something like that.
Cool. And what motivated you to pursue a study exchange abroad?
To be honest, I don't really know. It was like when I went to, it was actually at the Freshers' Fair. There was like a study abroad stand, like people advertising saying what they'd done if they'd studied abroad. Yeah. I happened to go over and look at it, and I got a leaflet but didn't really think anything of it. Obviously Freshers is really busy and there's a lot going on. So I didn't really think about it, and then I sort of mentioned it to my mum and dad and they were like, well, why don't you? And it was just sort of gradually, it was in the back of my mind, and I obviously, like everyone does, watch a lot of like American college like shows and films and that kind of thing. And also my dad and my whole family is a massive country music fans.
Are they?
So then when we started looking into where I could go, where was best for my course, and Nashville came up, and my dad was like, well, you have to go. So that's how it sort of came about. But yeah.
What skills were you looking to develop from the trip?
Do you know, I think I hadn't particularly thought about it. I think mainly just like proving to myself that I could do it, like maybe building my confidence and independence. Like I've been very lucky to travel with my mum and dad a lot, but I'd never travelled on my own except to Spain once to meet my mum and dad. So I'd never really travelled on a plane by myself, let alone like moved. I've never even moved house. So yeah, it was so I think I was just looking to prove to myself that I could do a big thing like that, just to say that I'd done it.
And how did you find, obviously, the switch to then living on your own completely when you got there?
Do you know, it was a challenge. However, I obviously, like Americans do, I had a roommate when I was out there, which I'm an only child. So I've never even had, it probably sounds really stuck up, I've never really had to share a bathroom. So then to share a room and a bathroom and everything.
Big adjustment.
Yeah, big adjustment. But I'm so lucky. My roommate, Grace, was from Tennessee. She's like a full-time student there. And she was the best. Like, she showed me around everywhere, and like luckily drove me around because the public transport is not great.
Is it not?
Oh, it's awful. It was just non-existent. You have to be able to drive, and I'm not even old enough to hire a car. So like I drive in England, but.
Yeah, because you have to be about 21, don't you, to hire a car?
Yeah, 21 or 25, I want to say. I don't know. Yeah, it's different in different places. But yeah, so I met Grace, and that was a massive help. And also just the other people I met out there. Yeah, and she's actually coming to visit in July. She's never left America, but she's
never left.
No, but she's coming over to England. She got her passport for Christmas.
Oh, that'll be so good. Is she going to stay with you?
Yeah. We're going to go, I think, mainly do like London, and she wants to go to like a stately home.
Americans are obsessed with London though, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they, because honestly, I got asked some weird questions about like, oh, are you from London? Or like someone asked me what we call coffee in England.
Why? What do they think we call it?
I don't know. It's because I said, because they obviously have like sweet tea, iced tea.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I was like, oh, that's different. Like English people are big about their tea. And she was like, oh, well, what do you call coffee in England? And I was like, coffee.
Did you get asked to say water bottle 1,000
times?
times?
Water bottle. And
Water
also,
bottle.
water bottle. And also people saying that I sounded like the Queen or I sounded posh.
Oh, did you get that you were Australian at some points as well?
No, I think because I've got like the stereotypical.
you've got
I've got the very British accent.
Proper received pronunciation.
And the thing is, no one would believe me, but I'm actually from near Birmingham.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
no
like
way.
my family's all Brummy. So
No way.
and I
Oh,
just
I can
didn't
hear it now.
Yeah,
Now
and
you
when I
said
say
it.
Brummy. But yeah, no, honestly, no one ever picks it up. I just sound posh. I get called posh a lot.
And so what were your expectations before you went there, and like how did the actual experience compare when you got there?
Do you know, I think, like I said, I'd obviously watched a lot of TV and film, so I was expecting it to be, I'd taken some things from like pop culture, like Pitch Perfect.
Oh, love that film.
And yeah, so my expectations were kind of film, TV show related, you know, like frat parties and sororities and like like college football and that kind of thing. And you know what? They were quite similar. Like one thing, Grace made fun of me for this. One thing that I got really excited about was when we went to Walmart and saw the red plastic cups that they have at parties.
It feels so American though, doesn't it?
Honestly, everywhere we went, I was like, oh my god, Target, that's so American. Like Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so American. I didn't unfortunately join any a cappella groups.
Oh
so.
no, I was going to ask you to give us some a cappella.
Which is, I can start beatboxing if you want.
I don't want to let down.
But yeah, I think to be honest, it quite matched my expectations. I think the one thing that maybe let me down slightly, and I think it was mainly just a Tennessee thing compared to a British thing, was the food. Yeah. I didn't find the food that brilliant, which I hadn't expected. Obviously, I'd expected a lot of burgers and fried food, but I don't think I'd expected like the quantities, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah. The like difficulty to find fresh fruit and veg. Like
it's so difficult. I was in Canada and North America, and that was the same issue that I had, was the food, and your stomach just hurts all the time.
Honestly, I got back and the first thing I had was a jacket potato.
Jacket potato? Yeah. I think the first thing I had when I got back was a Wagamama's.
Oh yeah, Waggers, Nando's, Greg's.
A bit of it. Oh, I missed Greg so much when I was away.
I'm really upset that I missed the festive bake when I got back. The festive bake had already gone off. So,
when did you go then, and when did you get back?
So I went on the 23rd of August, and it was like a week before classes started, so I gave myself a few days to settle in. And then got to do a lot of travelling. I ended up, because we had a lot of like breaks, like fall break and Thanksgiving break and that kind of thing.
Nice.
And then I ended up, just because of the course, like the classes I picked, I didn't have many exams, and if I did have like deadlines, they were quite early. So I ended up finishing by, I think, like the 8th, 9th of December.
Oh, nice.
But obviously, like I said, my mum and dad really, like, they wanted to come out to Nashville, and so they organised to come out and meet me at the end. So I had sort of a few days, so I ended up travelling to New York with with a Scottish guy, James, that I met out there. And then they came out on like the 15th, 16th-ish of December. And then we did Nashville and Memphis, and then we travelled to Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
And then we ended up staying there till Christmas Eve, and then we flew back Christmas Eve night and landed on Christmas Day.
Oh my gosh, I bet that was hectic.
It was, and you know what? So then we drove straight from Heathrow to my family's house, like not my house, like my auntie and uncle's house for Christmas dinner, stayed there overnight on Christmas night. Then we went on Boxing Day to Birmingham to watch the football, so I didn't actually get home until like the 27th.
Oh my gosh, I bet you were knackered.
I was so tired. I don't really drink at all. Like, obviously, I couldn't while I was out there, but I'm not a massive drinker since freshers, really.
Yeah, because it's 21, the legal age. I always forget that.
Yeah. So I was on the vodka just to keep myself awake.
It's needed.
Yes.
Oh, bless you. Now, what were some challenges that you faced while you were there, and how did you overcome them, other than the food?
Yeah, I was going to say the food was a big one that was a bit unexpected.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, getting used to how they do their classes and like how their college works. Like, in a way, it was actually easier because they didn't have they don't do academic essays particularly.
Okay.
Like I didn't have to reference or do like the Harvard.
Was great.
It was amazing, honestly. That I think getting used to how the classes worked, and they would always talk about like pop quizzes and like AP style, and it was all these sort of words that I didn't know, but I'm quite confident anyway. So at the start of in my first class, in every class, I went up to the teacher and was like, listen, as you can tell, I'm not American. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just so you've got it in mind. So I think that's how I overcame that. And then I think the biggest challenge, to be fair, was the admin and the paperwork before I went.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, so the visa application was fine, but long. And I did have a few issues with my visa, sort of because I didn't realise I had to send my passport to the embassy to get the visa in. And I was away. I was actually
send your passport.
I had to send my passport, yeah, and I was actually going to see Harry Styles in Barcelona, like a month before I went. So I had to wait until I'd got back from that before I could send it, and then I ended up getting my visa like a few days before I left, and it was just so.
Divine
it was
timing.
Very stressful, and just a lot of like luckily the teams at both MTSU and Salford were very good at replying to my emails. They were really good at replying fast, even if they couldn't like help particularly. If they could just give me peace of mind, like it's fine, or like this is who you need to reach out to. So I think just if I had a problem, the first thing I would do, like I think they were probably a bit bored of me, but if I had a problem or if I was worried about something, I would just email straight away, and and they'd get back to me, and that's how I think I overcame most of them challenges, was just having to be patient and just communicating.
Yeah, because the universities are all here to support you as well with any issues.
Exactly, yeah, completely.
And how did you meet people? Did you join any societies? Or?
So I actually, this is a funny story. I was talking to my mum about this the other day. So where I lived on campus, we lived sort of in one of it was like on Sorority Row. So we were surrounded by all the sorority houses. All the frats were off campus, but we were surrounded by all the sorority houses. But the house that we were in was only international students, or like pretty much like. All the international students that were there for a semester stayed in this house. So I got to meet people. There was a house meeting like in the first week and I'd only met Grace at that point. And there was some German students sitting behind us at the meeting, and after the meeting I sort of stopped them and was like, I just wanted to introduce myself, like hello. Best
way to do it.
literally. So I introduced myself to them and just said, look, I'm not American. Just so you're aware. And just introduced myself to them, and then the next day there was like a soccer match on, like women's. So me and Grace went to that, and the German students were there a few rows behind us. So I got chatting to them at half time and was just like, I'd literally only said hello to them and was like, well, are you doing anything this weekend? Like Grace went home every weekend. She worked and that and saw her family. So I kind of had every weekend to myself. So I was like, are you doing anything? And they were like, oh, we're actually going to Atlanta. So like, sorry. And I was like, well, is there any room in the car?
Yeah,
and they were like, oh, we'll let you know. And then Clara, one of the girls, messaged me the night before, because it was a long weekend. I think it was like a Labour Day weekend.
Right.
And Clara messaged me, one of the girls, I didn't even know any of their names, messaged me on Instagram and was like, hey, we've got like room in the car if you want to come. Like, I know you don't know any of us.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I was like, do you know what? Yeah.
Yes.
Like, of course I will. So yeah, I got in this car with these 4 random German people that I literally only knew Clara's name at that point. And I ended up traveling everywhere with them, and they're
so
really good friends. And I was actually supposed to go out to Germany to visit them, but I think they're going to come over to England. I think we're going to a festival together in August, some of us.
Oh, what festival?
It's called Victorious Festival. I actually don't know many of the headliners, but me and Verena, one of the girls that I met, one of the other German girls, we're both massive One Direction and like Louis Tomlinson fans, and Louis Tomlinson's performing at it, so we're basically just going to see him.
Oh, that'll be so good. Did you go to any frat parties while you were out there?
Yeah, we did. Again, I spent most of my time with the international students. There was obviously the German people, there was Grace who was American, there was another girl who was American, I know there was a few that were American that lived there. There was like a girl from Norway. There was some guys from Finland. So we all kind of went together. I was the only one that was under 21.
No way.
Which, so if they ever went to bars or anything, there was a bar, like a local one, and one that they could do line dancing at that I couldn't go to, which was annoying.
Oh, that's so annoying.
But we did go to frat parties. They were an experience. I will say they weren't like I was expecting at all.
They're crazy, aren't they?
Well, yes, and also no.
Oh, really?
Like,
what were yours like?
Well, so yes, as in they have these massive houses and they throw these like sick parties and they've got like a DJ and the lights. Like one of them was, one of the frats had like a shed, like garden. It was like a barn basically in their garden that the party was in, and it was like 2 floors, and it was like sick.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So it was good, but also you had to go in and they ID'd you.
Yeah, this is what happened to me in Canada.
Yeah.
We got ID'd at a house party.
Yeah, ID'd at a house party. So got ID'd, got like a wristband on or like a X on my hand, and then we had, obviously you have to bring your own booze, and then we had to check in our alcohol. We had to like give it to these, like the pledges, the people. Whoa. I think it's like freshers, like
they
the
take
first
it
years.
really seriously, don't they? Was there like the main guys on the door that were like running everything?
Yeah. So then, and they had all like the pledges sort of having to be the sober ones, like in control of everything, and then like obviously the president or whatever.
Yeah.
And we had to check in our alcohol, and then there was these like guys that would like stand there with a table, and you had to like, if you wanted a drink, you had to go up to them and be like, "Mine's the red bag," and they had to give you one.
That's
it's
so
they could check that you weren't underage drinking.
That is crazy. I did not imagine it to be that serious.
Me neither. I think that was a big shock, and because I thought I'd be able to get away with it.
Yeah.
But then after after that, I was like, I'm probably just not going to bother. I'm not a massive fan of alcohol anyway.
No,
but I imagine a few like other people might have struggled with that.
Yeah.
I was just so scared of getting caught and then getting deported.
Yeah, literally, that is your fear when you're studying abroad. You don't want to do anything wrong in case you get deported.
Literally, and it didn't help. My politics teacher was telling me his daughters got done for underage drinking because they were in an Uber on the way home from a party, and the Uber's brake light had gone, so they got pulled over like the Uber did, and then the cop was like, you're not 21, and they got done like that, and it like they weren't even being irresponsible or anything.
It's crazy because when you're in England, obviously you're used to it being fine, so going away to America, you're like,
yeah, I was terrified.
Yeah, it's so strange, isn't it? Oh, bless you. But yeah, I remember the frat party we went to, they had a massive school bus in the garden, and then someone's dad was DJing on top of it, and it was insane.
That is so funny.
It was so
my dad would have loved that. He's a DJ.
Is he?
Well, not just a DJ, but yes, he does DJing on the side.
Tell him to do that. It was like a big yellow school bus, like the typical American school buses, like just in their garden with their.
That was another thing. The yellow school buses. Every time I saw one, I'd be like, "Oh my god!"
Did they have cool fire engines in America?
Yes, and like police cars.
Yeah, they look so cool.
Yeah.
How do you think that the experience has contributed to your personal growth and development?
I think it's probably just sort of developed my confidence, develop my independence a lot. I'm already quite independent. Like, I think you have to be some form of confident to go in the first place. But I sort of have this mindset now, like if I'm ever faced with a challenge or anything recently, I'm like, Emma, you literally moved to a different continent by yourself for like 4 or 5 months. Like that's nothing.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of given me that mindset. Like you move to America, you're fine.
Yeah. If you can do that, you can do
exactly.
anything.
I that's my kind of mindset, and it's definitely made me a lot more outgoing and a lot more like, what have I got to lose?
Do you feel like since you've got back, you've started going to more things that you normally wouldn't?
Yeah.
And speaking
Yeah.
to people?
Definitely like pushing the boat out. And yeah, definitely.
And do you think the exchange trip has contributed to any of your academic or professional goals?
Do you know, I'm not sure. To be fair, I will say, like, I've always had a bit of an interest in politics, and taking American politics out there was so interesting. I'm really interested in American politics. So I think it's maybe given me a sense of I'd love to do something journalism, American politics-y related one day. Yeah, I think that it's definitely, I wouldn't say like confirmed that I want to do that, but it's definitely made me aware that I've done quite a lot of politics things in England recently as well, obviously with the Jenny Leck coming so I think it's maybe made me realise that I find politics quite interesting, and I'd maybe like to go into that one day.
So it's given you some inspiration
Yeah,
for what you want to do, definitely. What would you say was your biggest achievement whilst you were there?
I would say, to be honest, I'm really proud of how much I travelled. The thing is, I say all this like I've barely even mentioned like that I did actually go to classes. My mum and dad will tell me that I was barely there, but I did actually go to classes. And to be fair, I got straight A's as well while I was out there. So I'm proud of that, and I think I made like the dean's list or something.
Yeah.
I got an email about it, but I didn't really know what it meant.
Yeah, I got the dean's list when I got back. It was like, congratulations. I was just like, I didn't even know there was a dean's list.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
But yeah, it's like the dean of the school that put you on the list for being a high achiever, which is an amazing achievement. So well
so
done.
I'd say that, and then also like travelling. We did, me and the other international students, I think we did 10 cities, or I think about 10 cities I did. A mixture of like with my friends and my mum and dad and everything.
What advice would you give to students to help them make the most of their time whilst they're overseas?
I think it just like you have to go with the mindset that no one knows you when you're there. So just don't be afraid to like make a tit of yourself. Like so for instance, how I just went up to these random Germans and invited myself on their trip to Atlanta, which was a place I wasn't even thinking about going. I hadn't even really thought about traveling. I knew I wanted to, but I hadn't thought about specific places. So just go with the mindset, no one knows you here. Just do everything, say yes to everything. Like don't overwork yourself or anything, but you're there to experience everything. Don't just you have to try and not get into the mindset of only 3 months till I'm home. Like think about it as I've only got 3 months left, how much can I fit in?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I just try and fit in as much as you possibly can. Make friends with as many people, like stay connected with them. Like it's always do you know, I always think if I ever want to go back to Nashville, I've got a place to stay now, haven't I? So like selfishly. So yeah, I just say no one knows you. You can be whoever you want and just like enjoy yourself. Just go out there. Yeah, no one knows you.
And is there an important hint or tip that you have for students who are wanting to go to the US?
The US in particular, I'd say do you know, one thing that's actually quite serious is like research the law. Yeah. For instance, obviously there is like the elephant in the room, the gun situation. So you do always have to be slightly aware. There was one time at a sport, we went to one of the college football games and it was still light, like the sun hadn't even set, and they set off fireworks and we were all terrified, like me and the international students, because we'd obviously prepared ourselves for the possibility. There's always the possibility. Yeah. And also like even like lesser serious ones like jaywalking. Yeah. It didn't really cross my mind until I got there and someone told me, but you cannot cross the road when you want to. Yeah, exactly. And you will, and I was so scared again that I was going to get told off for jaywalking, get arrested, get deported, and it was all because I was too impatient to wait for the crossing.
Jaywalking is very serious.
Yeah, taken very seriously. And again, the drinking thing, and and obviously laws differ by states as well. So check laws specifically. Right.
Perfect. And can you give any tips for students regarding funding and budgeting?
Yeah, so I got funding through the Turing scheme, which I just applied for through the uni. It was quite a while ago now. I can't remember how. But yeah, so I got funding through that. I got my normal maintenance loan, and like because of how it worked, I got the normal like $9,000 that went to the uni, and I didn't have to pay any extra tuition when I went over there. Perfect. And then I also worked a full-time job for like 3 months before I went, like obviously, and because I'd known since maybe sort of halfway through first year that I wanted to go, I immediately started saving. I just saved up as much money as I could, put it all to one side in an account, and then I went with the mindset that's how much money I've got to spend, and it, like that's how it worked. And luckily I did get some, like, because I had my birthday and Christmas while I was out there.
Oh, buzzing.
So exactly. So I basically, obviously no one could really give me presents, so I just asked for money off everyone to go on a trip or somewhere, and I went to Disney on my birthday in the end.
Oh, you went to Disney?
Yeah, it was great.
Amazing. Was that in Florida?
Yeah.
How good is Florida though?
Oh, it was so good.
Did you go to any of the Universal parks?
No, So I went to. I can't remember now. I've slept
Jogging your
since
memory
then,
here.
literally. So I went to Disney. We had like fall break, which fell over my birthday. So we went to Disney on my birthday, and then we went to the Universal water park.
Ooh, was it Volcano Bay?
Yeah, that one.
I love Volcano Bay.
Yeah, that's the one. So we went there a few days after, and then some of the others. I'm not a massive like theme park person, specifically like hardcore roller coasters. So a few of the others went to like Universal for the roller coasters, and the rest of us, because I'd already been to 2 parks, I was like, I don't need to go anymore.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
It is expensive.
So
you can get like a week's pass, can't you, for Disney and Universal like all together? But it is expensive.
Yeah. So we didn't have enough time to do that, so we had to pay for the days individually, which was more expensive.
Yeah, that would have been.
But then a few weeks later on Thanksgiving break, a few of us went to LA and California, and we went to Universal there.
Oh wow, I didn't know they had one there.
Neither did I, but they had because it was coming up to Christmas. They had like the Grinch and all the like Christmas like land, and they also had Nintendo World there.
What Nintendo? Oh
like
my gosh,
Mario.
I would have lost my mind.
I know we met Mario and Luigi and Toad, and the one I was most excited about in LA, we met the people. We met the Scooby-Doo like cast, well not the cast, but like people dressed up as. And I was so excited. I got everyone to take a picture, and then no one else was English that was with me, and they all came out and they were like, Emma, who were they? And I was like, you don't have Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
And they didn't know.
How could they not know Scooby-Doo?
Literally.
That was my childhood.
Literally.
That is. How old were they?
They're all old. To be fair, they're all older than me, but not like 22 to 25, I want to say.
That's so mad. I've never known somebody to not know Scooby-Doo. That's just...
I know. I kind of expected it off American people. Isn't it American?
Yeah, I swear it's American.
I thought it was American.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The German people had no idea, so maybe it's just not a thing in Germany.
Yeah, maybe it's they're missing out. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been so nice talking to you. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoy talking about it.
Oh, thanks. Now, if you listeners want to find out more about study exchanges or work placements, then please visit the Student Hub International Opportunities page. There you can find out about our drop-in sessions, application processes and partnerships. I'll see you in next week's episode, where we'll be hearing from more of our amazing students about their overseas placements. Please like, share and subscribe to this podcast so you can hear more, and we can spread the word about our international opportunities. We'll see you next time.